What if I told you the man who warned us about a future of surveillance, fake news, and mind control wrote it all before the internet even existed? His name was George Orwell, and he saw our world coming. George Orwell was an English intellectual who died in 1950 and used literature for its truest purpose, to change the world for the better. At his core, Orwell was a political writer, someone who believed that art should help us grow kinder, fairer, and wiser. In 1946, 1 year after publishing his immensely popular fable, Animal Farm, Orwell wrote a pivotal essay titled Why I Write, which laid out his approach with typical clarity. What I've wanted to do over the past 10 years is to make political writing into an art. My starting point is always a feeling of partisanship, a sense of injustice. I write because there is some lie I want to expose, some fact I want to bring to light. My goal is to get a hearing. To understand Orwell's significance, we must understand what this most political of writers loved, what he hated, what he rebelled against, and what he championed. These are the keys to unlocking both his extraordinary work and his painful yet fulfilled life. Orwell versus intellectuals. Ironically, Orwell despised the social class he himself belonged to, intellectuals. He longed to be a writer from a young age, but was exceptional at never quite fitting in. Born in 1903 in India, then part of the British Empire, Orwell was the son of economically fragile civil servants. His parents envisioned a typical upper-middle-class path for him, perhaps as a doctor or lawyer. At just 8 years old, Orwell was sent to a harsh English prep school, eventually winning a scholarship to Eton. He rejected the values of the English public school system, never attended university, and instead became an Imperial policeman in Burma, before settling into the life of a struggling literary intellectual in London. Despite his background, Orwell accused intellectuals of lack of patriotism, contempt for money and physical strength, sexual frustration, pretension, and dishonesty. He understood these flaws intimately, and his greatness stemmed from the brutal honesty with which he confronted those tendencies in himself. The real problem with the English intelligentsia, he wrote, is their separation from common culture. It's considered disgraceful to be English, to respect English traditions, from horse racing to steamed puddings. The turn toward ordinary life. Orwell's generation, shaped by World War I and the Great Depression, pursued grand ideological visions, from communism to radical capitalism, even fascism. Orwell listened, was briefly tempted, but ultimately chose to champion the ordinary person. Ironically, as a product of elite education, Orwell had little contact with people outside his class. A friend once described 25-year-old Orwell as moth-eaten for his age. But Orwell changed. In 1928, he left behind the privileges of class to work menial jobs in Paris and London. His first major book, Down and Out in Paris and London, 1933, affectionately portrayed life behind the scenes, the camaraderie of waiters, cleaners, chefs, and prostitutes. Later, in The Road to Wigan Pier, 1937, Orwell chronicled his travels in northern England's coal mining communities, finding more intelligence and wisdom in a village pub than in the British cabinet or Oxbridge. He admired the non-pretentious, honest, and earthy culture of everyday people. They gamble, drink beer, love off-color jokes, and use the foulest language in the world. But they are real. Journalism that humanizes. Orwell knew that news often dehumanized the very people it claimed to represent. His mission in literary journalism was to restore dignity and humanity to those flattened by statistics and bias. In an essay on Marrakesh, he ridiculed colonialist attitudes. The people here have brown faces. Are they even made of the same flesh as you? Do they even have names? Or are they just undifferentiated brown stuff? He argued that those who do the most important physical labor are the least visible in society. Everyday beauty and simple truths. Orwell found deep value in seemingly mundane things. Comics, flowers, country walks, English food, Yorkshire pudding, muffins, crumpets, and kippers. He even defended Charles Dickens, then considered too popular by critics. And in Politics and the English Language, 1946, he famously condemned pompous prose. He issued a ban on words like phenomenon, utilize, inexorable, veritable. He hated pretentious foreign phrases like status quo or deus ex machina, championing instead a clear, plain English. Orwell's legacy: Animal Farm and 1984. Orwell is best remembered for just two books: Animal Farm, 1945, 1984, 1949. Yet he died only 4 years later, in 1950, at just 46. Animal Farm is a political fable exposing how revolutions betray themselves, a symbolic retelling of events like the Russian Revolution. Orwell's genius was to make it accessible through talking animals, much like Aesop or Walt Disney, allowing mass appeal with timeless insight. In 1984, Orwell reimagined the science fiction novel. Drawing inspiration from H.G. Wells, he imagined a future where Great Britain, now Airstrip 1, is part of a totalitarian superstate ruled by eternal war, surveillance screens, thought control. In 1984, the Ministry of Truth, Minitrue, distorts information. Orwell brilliantly saw that modern tyranny wouldn't arrive with chains, but with entertainment, fake news, and fact-checking, and the illusion of freedom. Citizens feel free, but are mentally enslaved by sexual distraction, sentimentality, and mindless media. Final legacy: Orwell made himself future-proof by focusing on ordinary life, sex, food, money, love, and pleasure, eternal truths of human nature. He became, arguably, the most successful serious English language writer of the 20th century. His final message? That human beings should behave better. A simple idea, perhaps a cliché, but in Orwell's view, the most important instruction in life. Thanks for watching. George Orwell taught us that truth, clarity, and courage can change the world. And if you believe in that, we've got another story you'll love. Watch the incredible journey of Lionel Messi, from medical challenges to football legend, from rejection to World Cup glory. It's live now on our channel. Don't miss it. And if you found this inspiring, like, share, and subscribe with the bell icon so you never miss another true story that matters.